And unless he identifies, unless he identifies as a woman, we have a huge problem. Threshold being 74. Vote count is Jan 60, Cristiano 84. All right, 2 more to go. We're rolling through. We're going to do chairman and then vice chair in that order. Okay? The floor is now open for nominations for chairman of RPT.
I nominate Mike Garcia.
Second. I nominate Pat Makoviak.
Second.
I nominate Ibrahim George.
I nominate Anna Meyer.
I nominate Weston Martinez.
Second. I nominate Amy Hedke.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. We need volunteers. Again, please come on up quickly. We will now vote. All right, sorry. I'm trying to roll through. They each get 5 minutes. So
Endorsed him, and I personally have been helping him out. Mike is a 8th generation Texan. He actually met his wife in the pro-life movement doing pro-life activism. He has 5 children. 1 is yet to be born. I met him working in the Capitol and in conservative offices like Swanson. He was the executive director of the Freedom Caucus. He worked for Senator Sparks and the Texas Public Policy Foundation. One thing that I noticed working in his office with him on some pro-life amendments is he has a library in his office of Bibles, theology books, devotional books. He is a man of deep faith. He is a devout Christian. And in all of our conversations, when we're talking about what he said, what she said in the Capitol, whether an amendment was going to be successful, he was dedicated to the truth, and he was dedicated to acting on his principles and doing it in a way that would honor God. And that really impressed upon me. He's a bold conservative, he has integrity, and he has great principles. He's endorsed by young conservatives, Mays Middleton, James Dickey, Jackie Schlegel, and Matt Krause. And if you know anything about Texas politics, that covers a lot of the different factions. And that's who Mike is, because he doesn't pick a side, he picks the truth. I'm really excited to support Mike. I encourage you to vote for Mike Garcia. He is a phenomenal guy. Whenever he told me he wanted this position, I asked, are you crazy? This is a terrible position to run in. But he wants to do it because he cares about conservative values. He wants to strengthen the party and uphold our principles, and he's a great guy to do it. Thank you all.
Hi, once again, I'm Joe Frazier, and I've worked in the legislature for over 10 years, first as the policy director for Senator Connie Burton, now for the last 8 years as chief of staff for Representative Terry Wilson. Both of them always have finished in the top 10 most conservative legislators in the building, and I'm very proud of that. And all of that time, I have worked with Mike Garcia, and he has been one of the most effective people in the legislature. We call it grassroots because the roots of native grasses grow up to 10 feet down, straight into the ground. And those are the things that hold in the soil and keep things alive. And in the 40s, the Democrats ripped all those up and replaced it with government wheat farms, and that's how we lost all our topsoil to California. So when I tell you that Mike Garcia is grassroots, I want you to understand my full meaning. He's an 8th generation Texan, and he is holding the line to keep this state conservative. Nobody is more equipped with a full toolbox to actually get the legislative priorities moved and passed and done. It's not about making speeches, it's not about getting your name out there for yourself, it's about getting the job done. And Mike, in fact, you may have never heard his name, that's a good thing, because he focuses on getting the job done and not on promoting himself. He's the best person for the job. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Samantha. I'm speaking on behalf of Mike Garcia. One thing that I'd just like to emphasize about Mike is that he is a man of the highest caliber of character. He is one of the most humble people I know. As Jeff just emphasized, you may have never heard his name, and that is because he's always working on the issues. As chair of the Freedom Caucus and working in the legislature, he's gotten through a large number of our conservative victories and conservative priorities, including constitutional carry, save women's sports, issues of that sort that would not have happened were it not for him bringing people together and working on that issue directly. I just urge you to vote for Mike because he is not in this for any other reason other than to get done what needs to be done. He's not doing it for any stepping stone until the next step in his career or anything, but he's in this because he cares about the issues.
And I have been working with Texas Right to Life for the past 3 years, and Mike Garcia had been serving on the Freedom Caucus previously. He had been their executive director, and then he served in Senator Sparks' office. He has always been approachable, he has always been respectful, and he holds to his Christian values, and I think that those are extremely important characteristics for our party's leader, and so I ask you to vote with me in voting for Mike Garcia for our party's chair. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Mike Garcia.
Anybody else for Mike Garcia? Next for Matt Makoviak. About 5 minutes on the clock. Whoever wants to go first. Go for it.
I'm endorsing Matt Makoviak because he's the only person with a plan and with a record of actual success. In the Republican Party, that needs to mean something. There's some amazing people in this race, and some good people, minus the guy who held a gun to his wife. But objectively speaking, while other candidates have something to gain as party chairman, Matt is the only one making a sacrifice for the party, given everything he's going to have to do it. I'll take the guy making a sacrifice to clean up a mess that he did not create. Matt is Travis County GOP chairman and head of Save Austin now has raised more money than any of the candidates combined in the last 5 years. His first day pledge, he gets $400,000 for the party, which we desperately need. He's won in blue areas and has raised over $5 million in Austin, just with Austin donors. While Democrats are pouring millions of dollars into the state, the party is broke. The only money the party has is the money that Ted Cruz gave them. Last night, we were at a Wire alumni mixer, and Matt came to speak, and he flipped every person there, -2. Which is why it's beyond incumbent upon this SD to support Matt as his home district. He needs a shot to make his case to the convention floor. Now, some of you might be asking why he entered the race so late. 10 days ago, he called me and said there was no one in the race that had an actual plan for election integrity, funding the party, or winning general elections. They're too busy killing each other in the primaries at this party. We need to be focused on the general election. There are 5 SDs that are set up to get him to the floor. This is one of them. Let's get Matt Makoviak to the convention floor to make the case that not only a candidate with a real fundraising plan, but has a history of winning and success. To the Republican Party, that means something.
Hi, I'm Judy Moore, precinct chair for 321. And when I first saw the text that Matt was running for state chairman, I was like, oh, great, oh, no. Yes, great, because it came with a plan to raise $1 million to fund election integrity and a plan on how to do it and how to have volunteer lawyers in every county. And I thought that was very impressive that so much detail was in that plan. He's also very strong on border security and will have a plan for that as well. He's already gotten pledges for $2 million and he says he will raise that $1 million for that election integrity within the first week that he's in office. I understand that the organization at the state office now is like very few people. There's not much organization to run our elections around the whole state. And his plan is to raise a lot of money for that. He has already raised $6 million for many candidates in the past. He's helped to elect over 100 Republican conservative causes or people. And he's had 7 years with a lot of his history goes back to doing a lot of political activism and being on the board of after the 911 commission, and he has a lot of experience that we need, but mostly his experience is going to come from his ability to go around the state and get this party organized and get this party out of debt. It's been done before. Steve Ministeri was our hero one year, many years back, and I think Matt will be our next big hero, and I hope you will vote for Matt Koviak. Thank you.
Hi, I'm relatively new to sort of the party political system. I was drawn in by President Trump, for good or for bad. Here I am, hanging out with Republicans again, and I love you guys. But what President Trump taught us is it takes bold, active, and effective leadership. Policy is not enough. We've always won on the policy, always. Conservatives, Republicans have always had the best policy, but you need money and you need motivation and you need to get out the vote. And I'm looking forward to having a Republican Party in the state of Texas that it deserves. California Democrats run that place ragged. That's what I want for Texas. If we don't do it and we lose this state, that's it. Vote for Matt.
1 second, all right. My name is David Rogers. I'm a Blue Roll City Councilman. I'm going to talk real fast because I love Matt Koviak. He and I did not always agree, but he came and took over the party in Travis County when it was in total chaos. And Matt turned it around. He is a turnaround artist.
Point of order. I would ask the chair to remind people that personal attacks on other candidates are not allowed under Robert's Rules of Order, especially ones that are incorrect. Thank you.
Abraham George.
Hi, my name is George Hyman, and I'm here to ask you to vote for Abraham George. Most of you probably recognize me as the former 2018 your Sd14 nominee against Kirk Watson, and I ran that race, and I thank you for your support. And I'm here to ask for support for somebody who's going to fight for our values in the Texas legislature. There are several priorities that we have. Everybody wants to raise money. Everybody wants to grow the party. I personally think the most important priority now is legislative priorities being enacted in the legislature. Democratic chairs being given leeway that they have been in the House is unacceptable. That's the highest priority now. We've all seen what's happened statewide and in the runoffs that are coming up on Tuesday. What's going to happen? The next cycle, this is the cycle to close it out. We need Abraham George to close it out. After that, we can start talking about the best ways to grow the party, what IT infrastructure we want to have. What we need now is somebody who's going to hold people accountable. That's Abraham George. As far as other things, having said all that, he is going to grow the party, and he is going to raise funds. He raised $700,000 for Collin County. As a personal point of privilege, I haven't run this cycle because I am the treasurer of the Texas Conservative Project PAC, which is raising money for Republicans, not candidates, but for Republican institutions around the state. $250,000 of that went to the Republican Party of Texas. I will not raise money for a certain candidate that's in this race, but I will raise money for Abraham George, and I will get it done. So please, please vote for Abraham George. Thank you.
So I'm here to speak on behalf of Abraham George. All you may know, people like Christiana and me, we're heavily involved in the grassroots in Travis. The supporters of Abraham George are grassroots all over the state of Texas. I spoke with him personally a week ago at a meet and greet. We had a long discussion. He and Greg Field and I talked about how to grow the party. Yes, we're all conservative and all that. Abraham George is data oriented. We're going to try to figure out how to get voters registered, get them involved, and keep them involved. To do that, we need to support the grassroots. We need to support the PCs at the ground level. Abraham George is smart in that way. We're going to work it out. We're going to try to figure out how to get the data, how to analyze the data, and how to get that in the hands of grassroots activists to make things happen. You should vote for Abraham George to make that happen and grow the party and make it work. Thank you.
everyone to put their weight behind Abraham George. He is grassroots and I believe would arm the precinct chairs exactly as Greg said. I am a 15-year veteran IBMer and I like to answer to the question around that he is an IT guy as well and understands that this is a data issue and that he will come up with innovative solutions to arm the precinct chairs to be able to get out the vote. Right now, we do not have those capabilities, and our TCRP in particular does not have those capabilities, and we need to get those in place. We need that at the local level and at the state level, and I have not heard that from other candidates like I did from Abraham George. Thank you.
So a lot of y'all probably remember Jill Glover. She was the one that really got all of the grassroots from the whole state of Texas to the Capitol to save Texas children. She was up there fighting like crazy. So before she died, because she died at the end of this last year, she told everyone, please support Abraham George. So there's something about this guy, he must just be a fighter because Jill was a fighter. She was a fighter and it's just a big deal to me, so thank you.
Abraham George is exactly 1 minute. Anybody? Yeah, go for it.
I just want to make sure we know this. We got to arm our grassroots, our PCs with technology and training. We need to figure this out and get it done. Abraham George is going to do it.
Anyone else? Dana Myers?
Well, many of you know me, I'm Reverend David Duncan. I've been precinct chair. I was acting chair of Travis County Party about 8 years ago. I'm here to speak on behalf of Dana Myers. She is currently the vice chairman of the party. Now, there's some important things to know about that because the party's a wreck. So what did Dana have to do with that? Well, she's been fighting very hard to keep things on the right track, but the vice chairman, if many of you don't know this, doesn't really have much power in the party. But what she has been doing, she was assigned the task of working on voter integrity, and she has logged thousands and thousands of miles driving across the state, training people on voter integrity. She, in fact, has logged so many more miles than the chairman himself logged in the service of the party that actually got to be an issue in the SRAC about how many miles she was logging. She's a real worker. She's going to work for the party, and here's the thing, she knows how the party works, and she knows how the party is supposed to work. She's been involved in the Republican Party for many, many years, held many positions. I think there's a brochure on all of your seats that can list all of those, but we get these lists of positions that people have held. And what you've got to know is she is tough. She's a retired trauma surgeon, and there's a couple of things you need to know about that and think about this. Some people have said she's not tough enough. Well, who's tougher than somebody who sees blood and guts every day in a trauma room? That's about as tough as you can get. And the other thing is about ability to raise money. You know, these surgeons, they're always having to raise money for the hospitals that they work in. This is second nature to them, is being able to go out and raise money and to know the people who have the big donors who have that money. So she's been involved in statewide campaigns before. She knows the issues. She knows how to fix the party. She knows where the donors are. She has personal relationships with many of them. Dana Myers will be a good, tough chairman for this party and bring us out of the doldrums that we've been in. Thank you very much.
Exactly 3 minutes for Ms. Myers. Dr. Myers.
I'd like to speak to Dana, and there's a couple of things about Dana that I want to share. We had 3 candidates that signed and committed to the Texas Nationalist Movement. She was one of those. And the other thing is she worked tirelessly trying to get rid of Eric. She worked on that, and we succeeded. And she is focused on education and election integrity. She's been across the state, just across the state, poll worker training and other training, trying to get out to those small towns and boroughs where they don't have a lot of access to education, and they've been doing that. She's been an advocate for many things related to election integrity, and I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Anyone else for Dr. Myers? Okay. Weston Martinez? You'll have 5 minutes.
Hello, folks. I'm Leland Freeman. I'm here to encourage everyone to vote for my friend Weston Martinez to be the next state chair of the Republican Party of Texas. Now, Weston has had a catchphrase for what he has done. Weston works for you. Now, how has Weston worked for you? Broad spectrum. He has been a 2-term Texas real estate commissioner appointed by Governor Rick Perry. He has served on the SREC. He has also had decades worth of experience in the private sector. From a technology standpoint, he was an engineer for SBC AT&T, developing fiber networks across the state of Texas. He has traveled across the state of Texas for decades, including recently. He's traveled to the border numerous times. I was with him back earlier in the spring with that event in Eagle Pass. In fact, shortly after that, he's traveled so much that the engine in his vehicle died. He had to have it replaced. So he is the person that is willing to travel across the state, meet with every county to get what needs to happen in Texas done in the Republican Party of Texas. He is endorsed by Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller, Ted Nugent, Dr. Steve Hotze, Jeremy Story, Rick Green, Dr. Douglas Frank, Russ Ramsland, Dr. Mary Talley Bowen, David Clements. Now, with regards to voter security and integrity, how do we secure our elections? Well, right here in Bexar County, he was the one that uncovered literally thousands of voter registrations going to one cemetery, and the fact that he brought James O'Keefe down here to expose it. And his plan is to end countywide voting and not using voting machines, have sequential paper ballots, close the primaries, and most importantly of all, enforce the election laws that are on the books. With the border, his plan is to have the Rio Grande dammed and have locks put in place to have it not only navigable for shipping, but also create a scenario where Texas is finally enforcing water rights treaties with Mexico, where they owe us literally millions of gallons of water. They are delinquent. He also plans to defeat George Soros' influence here in Texas. It's Weston Martinez. He works for you, and I encourage you to vote for him to be the next chair of the Republican Party of Texas. Thank you so much.
Is there anyone else for Mr. Martinez? Next is Amy Hefke. You'll have 5 minutes.
Thanks for everybody for showing up. Amy entered the race a little bit late. I'm urging everybody to vote for her. Most of you know her from her grassroots involvement in fighting school bonds and a lot of items at the legislature. So if you could please vote for her. She's very well capable of running this show, and we have a lot of capable people in this election. Thank you.
Anyone else for Ms. Hefke? Okay. I need the volunteers for voting, please. Yes, so I will go through that, yes, one at a time.
Yes, ma'am. It'll be uploaded shortly.
Here is who you are voting for chair of RPT.
Sure, I'll send it to you.
Is everybody listening?
Sorry, I didn't get it. I got it.